Namaste. The most intriguing and the most difficult of all questions one faces during the spiritual evolution process are questions about ourselves. That is, who am I? I find this the most difficult question to answer. The answers that we give at every level of our spiritual evolution for this question, they have a different flavor. As we progress, this question has a different meaning for us. The answers are different. So, in today's video, let's explore this question and how this question or the self enquiry can help us to progress in a spiritual path. We often find ourselves questioning reality, questioning ourselves, questioning our life choices, life situations. An intelligent person questions everything. When we live in acceptance of what is happening externally without questioning or trying to understand the situation or without trying to understand ourselves or the people around us, we are literally sleeping to the external world. So, the sign of an intelligent person is, or an emotionally intelligent person is, that they start questioning. Not just questioning, but asking the right questions is also very important. This process of questioning can start with very simple questions, trying to understand what the meaning of life is, what is the purpose of my life, where is life leading me to, why do I need to experience certain situations or certain people in my life, what is it that is experiencing life. So, the more you go deeper, the more you understand your spiritual side, the deeper your questions become. We question our very existence on this earthly plane. When we ask the right questions, it allows us to penetrate deeply into the surface. The surface consists of the image or the idea we have about ourselves and the external reality. This image or this idea, it has taken many years to form. So, based on our interactions, our understanding, our experiences, our personality, we develop an idea about what we are and what the external reality is. When we are asking deep questions, we are trying to penetrate or break through this image that we have created within ourselves about ourselves and the external reality. If we do not question, we are living mindlessly. We are caught up in the same behavioral loops, the same belief systems. We are living life from a lower brain. That is, we are living life reacting to it rather than responding to it. We are under the control of the fight and flight mechanism. The ego takes the front seat and it is driving your life. This will not allow you to see the reality for what it is. It will not allow you to understand yourself. It will not allow you to see your inner truth. As long as ego is driving your life, you cannot be a wise person. The choices which you make, the life situations you attract, they'll keep you in low vibration. Moving away from the ego towards the self, which is more rooted in universal truth, this shift starts when we start questioning ourselves. We need to develop a level of authenticity within ourselves. We should have the courage to face our truth, take the right decisions, increase inner discretion. When we are doing all these things, we are moving away from the lower brain to the higher brain. The pranic flow in your body is now reaching the higher brain centers. The higher brain centers open up, and now we have inner discretion. We are able to understand what is right and wrong. We are operating from a higher level of intelligence. Accordingly, you will see changes in your life situations, and the kind of experiences you attract into your life at this point are drastically different because now you're in a higher vibration. So, moving from the lower brain to the higher brain, or moving from reacting to external life into a mode of responding, this can start with simple questioning on our very existence, purpose of life, what life is all about, what is the external reality telling you. All these questions uh, can really propel your movement from the ego towards the self, and this accordingly raises your body vibration. Question here one will face is, who am I? You will get different answers for this question. Now, this answer will totally depend on where exactly you are in the spiritual evolution process. For somebody who does not have many lifetimes of human experience, that is, they are a new soul, their soul does not have enough essence or enough experience to form an inner core. The personality is not well developed. Such an individual generally has personality disorders. These people live life from the surface level. They are very caught up in the external life, and the ego drives their vehicle, both the body mind vehicle, and they're caught up in the maya or the external worldly things. They are very materialistic, and they live all their life trying to create an image for the external world. When a person is living like this, they will not ask deeper questions. And when they are told to ask deeper questions, ask questions like, who am I? They will laugh at the very question. The reason why they will laugh is that they will say, don't you know who you are? You are an engineer, or you're a father, or you are a doctor, or you're a farmer. You already know who you are. So, what is this question? And this question is very stupid. This is the typical response they give you because they are not living life from an inner depth. They do not understand what inner depth is because they do not have it. They're very shallow. That essence or that inner depth is built over many lifetimes of soul evolution. When somebody is in the first few lifetimes of soul evolution, they will not have the inner essence or the inner depth to understand deeply spiritual questions. They live life from a shallow level. Soul evolution is a process wherein a soul, it evolves from an animal mentality to a divine entity. The animal instincts, the animal drive, they should be removed. This will take many lifetimes. It's a long process. At the end of this process, the soul is mature enough for the person to ask the right questions. This person now starts questioning his life, his reality. This brings in a shift within himself. It brings a new understanding. This questioning will propel the person into a spiritual evolution. So, questioning is a very important aspect in a spiritual evolution process. A well developed personality has depth to it. They are deep thinkers, they can be creative, wise. They understand that life cannot be lived with a limited perspective. They seek to correct themselves, they seek to learn and grow. These are typically the signs and behaviors of somebody who is having a level of soul maturity or spiritual depth. Personality, as I said earlier, it evolves over many lifetimes. We have to question ourselves so that we can get rid of all that baggage from ourselves, which is allowing our ego to take charge of our life. We have to move away from identities, from our attachments, from our drives, from our motives, from our fears, from our pain, from our delusions. We have to move away from all these things because all these things are the falsity. They are the egoic baggage that we carry with us. Once we understand this, and once we start distancing ourselves from the egoic baggage, we start uh, removing that baggage from our life, we are truly moving into imbibing our inner essence. Spiritual evolution is all about peeling away layers of ignorance. We have many layers of ignorance over us. At the first level, when we ask the question, who am I? The typical answer will reflect your lifestyle or how you identify yourself as. For example, you could identify yourself as a doctor, as an engineer, or a scientist, or a victim, or somebody who's maybe doing some job. You could identify with your name, your family, your religion, race, culture. These are the initial identifications the ego attaches itself with. And it spends all its lifetime trying to defend these uh, identities or trying to create more drama around these identities. Once we realize that we are not these identities, we are something beyond that, we peel away one layer of ignorance. For example, if there is a king and he thinks that he is the king and he's attached to the idea of being a king, he will have this arrogance, this false sense of superiority because he thinks he is a king. He believes it. But if he is a wise king and if he understands that he does not or should not limit his identity to what he does in real life, and king is what he is for the external world, but internally he has removed that layer of ignorance, then immediately this false sense of superiority gets replaced by a new level of humbleness or an inner authenticity. He is moving away from the external facade. So, one layer of ignorance is already peeled away here. At the next layer, a person can identify with the relationships. He can see himself as a father, husband, or a woman can think that she's somebody's daughter or mother, or maybe she is an employee or an employer, or what they do in their life, how they relate to people and the society. This is where we create the second level of the personality layer, our relationships. So, our relationship starts defining our existence, the work we do, how we define life. So, this is the next layer of ignorance. When we peel away this layer of ignorance, we realize that our relationships should not tie us down. We do our duty towards everybody, but we are not tied down with our roles, and we do not expect anything from the people in our life in return. That way, we become more powerful. We work from an inner sense of security and an inner sense of fulfillment. The third level, the person identifies with his mind, that is, the thoughts, the beliefs that he carries. Some of these beliefs can be socially put in or culturally put in beliefs and ideas. At this level, the person can start disidentifying with whatever he is believing in. For example, he can do an activity where he writes down everything that he believes in. I'm talking about beliefs that are creating a false sense of ego. So when he is writing all those beliefs which are keeping him trapped in the egoic framework, and when he understands what all those beliefs, and when he removes those beliefs from his life, he no longer subscribes to it. He starts unsubscribing to all those beliefs. That is when he starts deviating or moving away from the personal beliefs to giving more importance to universal values. When he starts living from the level of universal values, his personal beliefs or the previous behaviors no longer tie him down or keep him at the egoic level. Now he is transcending the basic egoic structure that is there in the body. As long as he does not transcend this, he is caught up in the lower three chakras in his body. Once he starts going beyond that and starts living life from universal values, he's already made the first step towards transcending the ego. So, this level, the person no longer identifies with his personality, his mind, his intelligence, his culture, his society. All these things are seen as part of the ignorance. So, the person starts peeling away all these layers from his mind. We have a lot of energy within us. All this energy within us, we are using it in creating and maintaining egoic structures. These fixed egoic structures, they create a heavy emotional and mental baggage for us. They do not allow us to increase our body vibration. They keep you trapped in lower emotions, emotions like guilt, anger, shame, hatred, jealousy, lust. All these heavy emotions, they are part of a system where the person is caught up in the ego and they're cut away from the truth. When you're cut away from truth, you live in fear. Real knowledge, it gives you freedom. It reduces the baggage in your body. Those fixed structures which were earlier seeping away all your energy, now those fixed structures are releasing. They're opening up. They're releasing all the energy. And what happens to all that energy that is getting released by these fixed structures? It is helping you to evolve spiritually. All that energy moves up as prana. So these fixed structures, fixed egoic structures in your body in form of beliefs, patterns, behaviors, various ideas, attachments, pain, sadness, fear, all these things, they're holding you down. They're taking away, they are sucking away your energy. Sometimes even the people, the external situations also can drain you out. Once a person is living in this kind of a system, he will see that he is experiencing a lot of energy drain. They will feel very tired. Their vibration level feels very less. Their emotions and ideas are very dense. They are reeling between constant negative emotions. This is typically what happens when the egoic structures in your body are getting heavy and the energy is getting pulled away because of these egoic structures. The way to come out of this is first to give away all these unnecessary ideas, unnecessary baggage that you're carrying within you. It starts with questioning yourself what is necessary in your life, what is not necessary in your life, and making that initial shift towards living a more emotionally and physically healthy life. When you do that, all that energy draining fixed structures in your body, all that energy which they are holding in your body, and that held energy is keeping you in a lower vibration, those fixed structures, they release the energy, and this energy, it propels the uh, spiritual evolution in your body. And the biggest of all these structures is the Kundalini, the 3.5 coiled Kundalini snake, which is sleeping at the base of your spine. What is it? It is your full potential. This fixed structure, this 3.5 coiled Kundalini snake is released. It straightens up like this. You are living from 100% of your potential or your inner power. So this fixed structure, it is holding a lot of your inner power. It is in a fixed form. And once the egoic structures in your body, they are released, you're healed from your past, you have reached a level of discrimination, your body vibration level has increased to a certain point. This can trigger the rising of this 3.5 coiled Kundalini snake. And once this snake uncoils itself and it starts moving up the spine and it comes here to Sahasrara, you have reclaimed all that power that you have lost. Now you are a free soul. All this starts with questioning. And the most important question is, who am I? How do you use this question, who am I? As I said earlier, this question will give you different answers based on where exactly you are in your spiritual path. At the first level, the answer will typically be an identification with the work you do, or your education, or your money. It could be something like, I'm a rich man, or I'm a poor woman, or I'm a ugly man, or I'm a beautiful woman. Or you could identify with your work or the various roles you play in life. You could identify yourself as a mother. The primary identification could be that. Every answer you get for this question, who am I, you should never accept the answer. The moment you accept the answer, you get stuck at that level. You cannot progress to the next level. So, the thing you have to do in response to this question is reject the answer. For example, you ask the question, who am I? Say you're working as a banker. So the answer comes that, what is this question? You are a banker. At that point, you're supposed to reject the answer. You have to tell yourself, I am not the banker. I'm something beyond this. My work cannot define me. The moment you reject this answer, that ignorance, that layer of ignorance which you had over yourself, which you identified with because you were working as a banker, that layer gets removed. And you have to understand that you have to peel away many layers of ignorance. At the next level, the answer could be, you are a father, or maybe you belong to a particular community or a particular cultural lineage. The answer at this level could be that you are the head of the cultural lineage that you represent, or you are a father, the various roles that you play in life. Your identity at this level can come from here, or it can define you based on the community, the religion you belong to. You are supposed to reject these answers also. It is only when you start rejecting every answer, you start going into the more deeper layer of ignorance that you're holding. The more you question, the more you reject the answers, the more you understand that you're carrying this ignorance within yourself. Peel it away, you're getting lighter. When you're doing this, the various fixed egoic structures in your body are dissolving. Please understand that. Later on, at a higher level, you will move away from body identification, role responsibility identifications, to how your mind thinks. You will think that these ideas are mine, these thoughts are mine, I am my intelligence, I am my skills, my creativity, my capabilities. This is how the ego keeps you trapped at this level. My idea, my thought. At this level, you have to reject away those ideas, those thoughts. Tell yourself that you cannot be defined by your thoughts, your ideas, your intelligence. None of it represents you. Peel away that layer of ignorance. Seek to go deeper. The more deeper you go, the answers will be different. At one point, you might get the answer that you are a divine being or a soul. Reject that too. Because the purpose of questioning is to go beyond identifications. If we start thinking that we are a divine being, then it will become a belief, and then it will become another layer of ignorance. To this day, I question myself and I keep on rejecting all the answers. The more I reject, the more deeper I go. I don't accept any answer. At this point of my spiritual journey, when I ask this question, I am experiencing a lot of inner silence. There is no answer coming out for this question. We have to understand one thing. A normal person who is undergoing a spiritual awakening, no matter how much they are thinking, how much information they are processing, it is all happening within the framework of your mind. You are not going beyond your mind. You cannot imagine what is there beyond your mind being within the framework of the mind. You have the Rudra Grandhi here, a knot, a psychic knot in the third eye region. That knot has to be pierced. Until Kundalini rises, moves up, and pierces this knot here, you cannot go beyond the mind. So please understand that all the questions and all the answers you get in your spiritual evolution, you're still working within the limited framework of your mind. You have not transcended it. But these questions and answers will allow you to transcend your ego and transcend the mind. When you are asking the right questions, when you are peeling away these various layers of ignorance, at a point you will reach a level of inner silence. This inner silence is not forced silence. This inner silence comes in because you're still trying to figure out what you are. At this level, most of your questions will bring out your inner silence and you will go into inner silence. When you reach this level, and if you can prolong this level, the more deeper you go into the state, reality starts revealing itself to you. Because by this level, you have deconditioned yourself. You have moved away from the egoic state of living to the self. The movement is there, it is happening, and you are putting in a lot of effort to move away from the egoic nature. And you're doing this how? By disidentifying anything or everything that is connected to your lower mind or your lower animalistic nature. When you start doing this consciously, the shift is that you move more towards the self. You move away from the ego towards the self. So now the self is driving your life more. In my own spiritual journey, my experience, as long as we are in acceptance of everything that is happening in the world, even if it is unjust, it is wrong, we make no effort to change ourselves. Rather, we try to uh, merge and live as part of a group because of peer pressure, because of our own fears. We do not want to question life, or rather, we do not have the inner essence or that inner spiritual depth to question life. We are caught up in the cycle of life and death. We never question ourselves. We live in an acceptance mode. We live in an acceptance mode because there are certain fears attached at the level of the society if we do not subscribe to certain ideas of or certain beliefs which belong to certain religion or certain tribes. If we do not follow what is followed earlier, there will be certain punishments at the physical level, and you are told that you will have to undergo certain punishments in a higher realm, which is a hell. So generally, people accept whatever is told to them because that way they don't have to go to hell, or maybe they will go to heaven. So as long as we are living life from this attitude where we do an action so that we can avoid pain, or you do an action because you will gain something. This is typically the animalistic drive. We have to question this animalistic drive within ourselves. This kind of a behavior where you are either seeking pleasure or avoiding pain, it keeps us in the lower chakras, the animalistic mode, and we can never overcome the inner animal drives or instincts. It all starts by moving towards inner authenticity, where you will do the right thing. And it is not about gaining something or taking an action so that you will not lose something. You go beyond that. You now want to live from your inner authenticity. And for the shift to happen towards inner authenticity, you have to start questioning life. You have to start questioning about your existence, the choices you make, your motives. Everything has to be questioned. This questioning can go on for many, many years. In my case, I must have questioned everything for over 2 decades to reach where I am today. The more you question, especially the question, who am I? And you're not ready to accept any answer that your mind tells you, you reject it, you're on the right path. Because the answer for this question cannot be found within the framework of your mind. It can only be a part of your spiritual experience, and this has to be experienced. This is an experience that happens beyond your Rudra Grandhi. The Kundalini has to pierce Rudra Grandhi and move up. That is where you will understand who you are. And this is not an idea or thought, this is an experience. Until then, please keep on questioning yourself. Who am I? And reject every answer. Every answer you reject will peel away a layer of ignorance. Thank you.